everyone, it is Dodger, and welcome to our very first tag video, which I was not tagged for at all. So typically the way that a tag video works is like you answer a bunch of questions survey style, and then you say which people, you tag which people should answer the question after you. And so normally you wouldn't do this until somebody else had tagged you, but too bad. And since this is our first one, we're gonna start easy mode. We're gonna do a Sherlock one, and it's pretty short. I've seen ones that go on forever, but I figured that I'm kind of a long-winded person, and one that went on forever would probably wind up being like a 2-hour video. But I've got the shirt, I've got the cat. Oh no, don't leave. No, no, no. Stay with me. Oh, thank God, you're so precious. You could probably use most of these questions for any fandom, but this is a specifically BBC Sherlock show fandom survey, so the first one is who introduced you to the fandom? Actually, oh my gosh, you know how it happened was my friend Kate and I were talking on the phone, and she was like, have you watched the new Sherlock show? Because everybody on my Tumblr feed is freaking out about it. And I was like, no, I haven't heard anything like good or bad about that show. And she was like, oh, well, I mean, you love Sherlock Holmes, you should probably watch it. And I was like, nah, it's gonna be bad. And then I was working on something and I wanted to have some kind of noise in the background. I wanted something on, you know? And I realized that the first season of BBC Sherlock was on Netflix. I was like, all right, I'll put that on, you know, just so that I can say that I've watched it. And I wound up getting no work done because I was like, what? This show is great. And you can imagine the feels that I felt when I realized there were only 3 episodes. I was like, what? Why? Ugh. How long have you been in the fandom? I watched it at the old house when Mike and Rose still lived there. Oh, I wanna say, shoot, I wanna say like 1.5 years. I was there for the new season. Like I had waited a while for the second season, but it was already up on Netflix, so I wasn't right off the bat with it. I don't know. I'll say 1.5 years just to be safe. There's probably a coffee time out there where I was like, oh my god, you guys, this Sherlock show is like so great, did you know? But I'm not gonna go back and find it. Who is your favorite male character? Sherlock. Look, typically I hate the main characters of things. It's really hard for a main character to be written in a way where I really love them, and nearly every iteration of Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock has been my favorite character. Like, he's just a character that's easily written as lovable and irritating at the same time. In BBC Sherlock, like, Sherlock is my favorite character by leaps and bounds. Who's your favorite female character? There are not many of those. Let's see, there's Molly, there's Mrs. Hudson, there's Irene Adler, there's Donovan. I really love Molly. But I really loved Irene too. I hated the way her episode ended, but I still like loved her. Favorite, I'll go with Molly. You know what? Molly irritated me for the longest time, and then there was a switch. There's a switch that happened. It was like Skylar White. I was just like, man, you're kind of awesome. Like, you're really smart, but you're a sweet person, and people shouldn't give you flack for just being, you know, like a sweet person. It's just like, she doesn't need to realize that Sherlock's never gonna love her, but that's okay. What was your OTP? Well, Sherlock Watson, man, come on. You know, whether it's an OTP or a bro-TP, like, they're just the quintessential pair. They're like Kirk and Spock. Like, to break them up is so sad to me. And I'd just like to clarify that I am not one of those people that wrote to Martin Freeman's wife being like, I can't believe that you're gonna come on this show and ruin everything, because if you're one of those people, then you should be ashamed of yourself. That was so mean. I felt so bad for her. Who is your no TP? OTP? I'm trying to think of like the worst pairing possible of people, like friendship or butt touching or otherwise. Let's see. Let's go with Donovan and, oh, I just hate Donovan. I just want her in this pairing. But I guess like a no TP isn't actually a no TP unless some people are really into it, right? It's like an OTP that you see showing up and you're just like, why is this a thing? Like, I hate this. I guess like some people are really into Mrs. Hudson being involved with any of the other main characters, and I'm like, no, that's okay. Who do you think is the funniest character? Oh, Mrs. Hudson's pretty funny. Mrs. Hudson's pretty funny. Sherlock's pretty funny. I think like Lestrade and Molly are both funny. Like they're funny in a, oh, you precious thing sort of way. I'll go with Mrs. Hudson. You know, since I claimed that she wasn't allowed to love anybody in the last question, I figure I should. I'll give you the funny award, Mrs. Hudson. You're precious and funny. Who is the prettiest character? Sherlock. Who is the most annoying character? I found Moriarty super annoying for a while, actually. I was like, God, I can't handle you. You're so obnoxious. But like, he grew on me. I don't know. Anderson's pretty annoying, but he's like written to be annoying. So you kind of find it funny. You're just like, you know, he's annoying, but in a way where you know that the next beat that's gonna happen is somebody just telling him to shut up. That's awesome. So you're like okay with it. I'll go with Anderson. He's a dummy. He's a big old dummy. Most badass character. I'm gonna go with John Watson. Even though I don't think that they are writing him in a way that really showcases how big of a badass he is, but let's be honest, like he is. I really do feel like they are missing out. Like they write him as such a dummy. And it makes me sad because I think that he's become this weird halfway point child between like big dopey Watson that is in so many things and, you know, like Jude Law Watson. Like he's neither of these. He's like this weird in the middle thing and I'm like, I want to see more Jude Law in you. Character I want as my best friend. Sherlock! But in all seriousness, Sherlock would be like the worst friend ever. That's a hard question because all of the characters are super flawed in this show. Like, I wouldn't want to be John's best friend. Lestrade might be a good best friend, but he'd be busy all the time because he's on the force. I don't want to be Irene's best friend. Definitely don't want to be Moriarty's best friend. Oh, maybe I should be Mycroft's best friend because Mycroft is amazing. What I'm going with, I want to be BFFLs with Mycroft. You could get in anywhere. Female character I'd want to marry. Irene! Why not? She's smart, she's hot. I wouldn't want to marry Molly because Molly is just like way too submissive, and Mrs. Hudson would be kind of awesome to marry because again she'd make you tea and stuff, but you know there's like that huge age gap. I'll go for Irene. Male character I'd want to marry, Sherlock. I can't look beyond how attractive I think Benedict Cumberbatch is just because Sherlock is a crazy person. Who is your least favorite character? Donovan. She is one of those characters where I was waiting around for them to make her more dimensional. Like, less of just a one-note, I hate Sherlock, blah, 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 character, and it never happened. It never happened. Spoilers for any of you who haven't seen the entire show, but like I kept waiting for her to have some sort of a small part in the story where you would be like, Donovan's not all that bad, or maybe Donovan's kind of awesome. Here was like my crack bro TP, right? Ready? I really wanted Donovan and John Watson to start hanging out all the time and become like BFFs, and that's how she would like get involved with everything and you wouldn't hate her. Nope! Nope! As a final question, what is your Reichenbach theory? I don't actually have a Reichenbach theory of my own. I've read so many of them though. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait until January. I'm gonna find out all the things and it's gonna be nuts, but I personally don't have any theories. So any theory that I would say right now would be somebody else's that I read, which I don't think is fair. But I think that it's really fascinating the things that people have come up with, and I'll be interested to see whether or not one of the ones I read turns out to be the real thing. Anywho, that's the Sherlock tag. If there's another survey-like tag game either on Tumblr or on YouTube or whatever that you guys think that I should do, let me know, and I'll tag a couple random people in the description. Lol. Alright, see ya! Bye-bye!